Hello, hello, hello. Hooligan Soccer Podcast coming at you on this Thursday morning with myself, Gary Stryker, and the Krooligan. Good morning, Krooligan. How are you doing?
Floating, baby. Floating on the ocean.
Floating, is that floating because there's just so much competitive football going on around the world at the moment that it's hard to keep up with, whether it's South America, North America, Europe, impending
No, I'm
World Cup?
actually giving an homage to sperm whales because it turns out that they can create vowels in their vocalizations, very much akin to human language. So, shout out to the sperm whales. Hang tough, brothers.
Wow.
Tough.
Oh, okay. Thanks, clearly. Okay. Well, this is not a biological or a marine biological podcast. This is certainly something a little bit different.
Much to everybody's chagrin, I might add. It's probably should include some good things.
Okay. Well, in that case, I don't know how to jump off from there, so I'm just going to dive in headfirst into the ocean here. Hooligan-soccer.com is where you can go and check out our musings, writings as we continue to grow our audience. We got 100,000 plus uniques the other day as well, which was exciting. So thank you for everyone who's coming in and reading. We are recording a World Cup dedicated podcast, the Road to World Cup, it's a FIFA World Cup Road to Global Showdown. That's what it's called. Sorry, I'm tripping over my words this morning. So you and I, Hooligan, are recording groups at the moment. So as we run up to the World Cup, go and check that out. And of course, there's a merch store and many other things going on as well. So come in, check us out. And of course, always like, follow, subscribe as we get into it. So Hooligan, today we are going to break down the Champions League quarterfinals that happened yesterday and the day before, which were sensational. And then look into this weekend's Premier League fixtures because also it is a very pivotal and critical week by the looks of it with all these games coming up.
Yeah, I'd say that some of the games were sensational. Some of the games were just utter crap. But in the end, the one you really have to talk about is the Bayern Munich Real Madrid game, which was one for the ages. Possibly the best game of the 25-26 season. If not, I mean, it's certainly in the top five. Not just in Champions League, but I think across all competitions. It was an absolute masterclass of no punches pulled, full bare knuckle soccer. I mean, just from the absolute get go. Gorgeous play, brilliant skill, utter howlers. All of it combined together, right? You can't ask for anything more.
And I think you predicted as well. You predicted guaranteed red cards from Real Madrid, and shocker, what happens? Red card from Real Madrid from Camavinga as well. So yeah, so that's, I think you called that as well. I seem to remember.
If it turned out to be true, I absolutely called it.
You did.
Yes,
I think it's on the record. You did. Yeah, Camavinga Camavinga subbed on 2 yellow cards as well. Yes,
that's correct. He did. That's right. He did. It did happen. Yeah.
Arda Güler falling for that player rapidly. Wow, 2 absolute wonder goals. That Neuer mistake on 3 minutes and then that free kick as well was absolutely fantastic. Really liked him. What I did notice as well is I don't know if you saw this in the CBS broadcast, is when Harry Kane scored, Jamie Carragher was jumping all over Trent Alexander-Arnold, saying that's Trent's fault. He should have been marking Kane, and he probably should have. And he was really sort of like jumping on him. And then he also gave him a little bit of love because he delivered this wonderful ball into Mbappe. Mbappe smashed it. Neuer had an incredible save, and it was from Trent as well. So it was interesting just to see the coverage as well from Carragher on the CBS side of things.
No, I mean, yeah, the pundits will always go and do that. They'll try to drive up. We do the same thing. We're always trying to like get a rise out of people, and admittedly, Jamie Carragher's much better at it than I am or you are. But yeah, so many. I mean, I look back on that one. Just everything that happened, the order in which it happened, the fact that it was a seesaw game that was constantly going this way and that way and this and the other thing. You just can't quite put words on it. You know what I mean? It was just wonderful, absolutely spectacular. And it's a shame that it won't happen again. Right? It really was a final, in my opinion. The way it was played, the intensity with which it was played. was deserving of an absolute, did this deserve to be the final game of the whole contest?
Yeah, it was an absolute one for the ages. It absolutely was as well. And by the way, and Michael Olise, I think he is just
Oh,
phenomenal. He is
the
incredible.
the sheer cheek of not taking the ball in the last 30 seconds of the game,
And saying
not
go to the
driving
corner.
to the
Yeah,
corner to waste the time. Even
yeah.
Harry Kane in the post match
You could
interview
see
was
him. He
like,
was
I
pointing.
was
Yeah,
screaming at Michael to drive to the corner. Every single person was dreaming, and
yeah,
Michael's
yeah.
like, oh, fuck that.
I wanted to
Hell
score.
no.
I
I'm just going to
wanted
go
to.
in and I'm just going to, and and as he said, he goes, he said, I've been trying that all game and it didn't work. He's, why not try it again? And of course, this is the time where it goes in. Like,
Yeah,
Jesus.
absolute wonder goal. Yeah, absolutely
Oh,
fantastic.
God, I would love to have him back at Crystal Palace, but I'm
Oh,
so glad that he's doing well. I'm so glad that he's doing well. I mean,
yeah,
seriously. No,
yeah.
I mean, in all fairness, he's too good for Palace, but
Yeah,
still,
well,
I mean,
he's definitely going to be in the World Cup. One player that sadly is not going to be going to the World Cup is Ekitike for
yeah.
Liverpool. Unfortunately,
God,
that was a
that's
real
so
shame.
bad.
Achilles tendon ripped. That's
Oh,
9 months plus, and if he'll
yeah.
ever be the same player again, it's a question mark over that one.
No,
Because,
let's not go there. That's not true. A lot of people have recovered from those and come back.
but serious
So
injury and
it
such a
is a
shame. But
serious
it was,
injury,
yeah,
and you
yeah,
could tell because all the PSG players were over there,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Well, he
Because
went
of
down. Yeah,
obviously they have a good number of French players, but they were
yeah,
there going, oh my God, no.
good, yeah,
It is moments like that when you realize that despite the fact that these clubs go after each other, right, when the whistle blows, and it's and they'll hack at you and they'll pull at you and they'll do this and they'll do that. At the end of the day, they're also teammates in so many other ways, in addition to just being, players of the beautiful game. Yeah, just all I can say is hopes for a speedy recovery to Hugo on that one, because
yeah,
he is gonna be so bereft and bummed. Not just that he's going to be missing the remaining season for Liverpool, but the fact he's going to miss out on the World Cup with France.
yeah.
He's going to
It's
be
tough.
sitting at
Yeah.
home going, "What the?"
God, yeah.
You know,
And he would have gone in spite of the embarrassment of riches France have up front. He would
he
have
would have
probably got on the
absolutely
plane.
been
Yeah,
picked. No,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
hundred
He would
percent,
have been
hundred
picked. Yeah.
percent.
So yeah. Anyway, well, yeah. Wish for a speedy recovery. But then it does set up Bayern against PSG in the one semi-final, which again, that's got
That
potential, sort of absolute cracker all over it. Yeah,
that has the potential to be as good as
yeah,
as the Real.
yeah.
I mean, here's the thing with Bayern: they're they score, they're dangerous, but they're porous in the back, baby.
High line, hey, real high line.
Against
Yeah,
really good clubs.
yeah.
They're you got to be wary.
I'd be looking forward to Kavica and Dembele and Doué and Barcolas like running out that back line and all that space. That's a risk. Yeah, that's a risk. Yeah,
Amazing. It's
yeah.
not a
It's going to be
risk.
fun.
It's not
Well,
a
for
risk. It
Bayern.
is an opportunity, and it is an absolute present. It is a
Yeah,
gem of a present to be giving to the soccer fan.
yeah. It's true. It's true.
And on the other
Athletic.
side, you're going to have the
Yeah,
trifecta up front running against PSG's back line,
yeah. That's true.
which
He'll
hasn't
test them
proven
up.
to be the most, I mean, I think pound for pound, it's stronger than Bayern's.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it's
I
going
don't
to.
think, but I don't think that that PSG's up. I don't think that the PSG front line is quite as ruthless and dangerous as Bayern's is. I think Bayern's
See.
has a slight edge on that one.
We'll see. Yeah. Well, Harry Kane getting his 50th goal of the season, I believe, or something like that, isn't it?
That was his 50th goal for Bayern. That doesn't count
Yeah.
the goals that he scored for Germany and on international duty,
I mean,
which brings it up to something like 56.
you mean England, Harry Kane, right? Sorry, you said for Germany.
No, he's really German. I just don't think. I mean, the fact is, all the English have been in denial for years about this. But
Yeah.
no, you're right.
Well,
For England, that was my bad.
he's on no, yeah, but he's on absolute fire. He really is, and it's really really impressive. Atletico getting through Barcelona as well. That was a sort of again another Simeone tactical masterclass as well. Doing
Yes.
Lord of the Dark Arts, and then but. I think the one thing that I suppose we can lead into now and then jump onto the Premier League side of things this weekend is Arsenal Sporting.
Well, before we go there, I just want to call out one thing. Barcelona, big game, red card. We had one of our writers did it, and I highly encourage everybody to go in and read this, but wrote an entire article about all the times that Barcelona in the last 3 years has entered into big time games, drawn red cards, and then suffered the effects of it. And that happened again in that match. It was the second time consecutively where they had a defender. This time it was Eric Garcia. In the previous leg, it was Pau Cubarsí. The second time, got a straight red for a dogzo for taking a guy down from behind.
Disciplinary issues, yeah.
It's a problem. That is a problem, and they're going to have to seriously look in the mirror and go, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
I got to fix
but yeah,
that.
let's go to Sporting Arsenal. Which do you want to say it or do I? It was perhaps that's got to be the worst 2 legs of soccer I've ever seen.
It was terrible, wasn't it? It was terrible. Both Sporting didn't look like they could have score, and they after the substitutes they seemed to get worse.
I would like to say this. No, I think Sporting actually were better. I thought Sporting were the better team. Pound for pound, minute by minute, Sporting were more dangerous, more excited, they looked like they wanted to be there and they wanted to do things more than Arsenal did. Now, did Arsenal do the business? Yes.
Yeah.
Which is, by the way, did the business. And but if that Arsenal goes up against anybody else, they don't have a snowball's chance in hell.
I think Atletico are going to tear them to pieces as well. Like Simeone,
I think Atletico could absolutely tear them to pieces because at least Atletico want to be there. You get the feeling that Arsenal they didn't feel like being there. Like there were some comments that were made in the post game stuff. Did you see the look on Declan Rice's face at the end of that game? He was not happy. Like
he was shell shocked.
They just advanced through the semifinals, and he's looking around going, "How the hell did that happen?" Because we played like utter crap.
Yeah.
And we still managed to get through. It wasn't a look of elation. It wasn't a look of happiness. It was a look of, holy shit, we really got to get our act together or we're going to be embarrassed in the next round.
It's as a Chelsea fan, there is let me retract that last statement. Just generally looking at North London, there seems to be a mentality issue going on in North London at the moment with Spurs and Arsenal. They are both deer in headlights, overthinking things, the weight, the pressure, all of it is just weighing them down, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, at least Arsenal though have something to play for. Spurs are done, right? I mean, it's they don't. Spurs have more to play for. They have not getting relegated to play for. That's right.
Yeah, a lot more to play for. Okay, let's look forward into the Premier League fixtures then this upcoming weekend.
But it does raise questions as you you say. It does raise questions into this weekend's Premier League fixtures because this is the week. There's going to be a lot more of weeks that come out of this that are going to be important, but this week is so amazingly critical to the league.
Yep.
Right. To the bottom line in the league. The fixtures that are coming in on this one. And remember, there's a double week going on, right? There are a handful of teams that have to play makeup games midweek.
Well, look at that.
Yeah, you've got, I mean, it's Chelsea play twice. They got to play Manchester United on Saturday, and then they got to travel to Brighton on Tuesday. And then you've got City because they've got the game in hand. So they've got to play 2. Mind you, they really only have to play 1.5 because their first game is against Arsenal and their second game is against Burnley. So I mean,
that's 6.
But here's the thing: as a team now, because you've got the Man City Arsenal game coming up. Let's focus on that. You have Arsenal that has, bottled it terribly, dropped out of 2 of their 4 possible trophies. They're still in this one, but by their fingernails, right?
Yeah, I don't feel
they've got to travel to Man City and they've got to win. Yeah, they got to win. And Man City's feeling the exact same way.
Do you think that if they come out with a draw as well, they'll be happy in a way, or do you think
absolutely they will?
Arsenal will be. We dodged that one.
Arsenal
that one. Yeah, Arsenal will take a draw.
They have to. They've got to be content with the draw. A loss suddenly puts them on the slippery slope.
Well, if they lose, what does that puts? What are they? So there's 6 points difference, so it goes down to 3, and then City have that game in hand, and they play against Burnley, which should be a sort of a
Should be a
walk in the
win.
park relative. Yeah, should be a win. So all of a sudden, this is another 9 point lead that Arsenal have run. They've done it like 3 times in this season where they've gone ahead by 9 points and just given it away. And there's a world here where Pep Guardiola could win the domestic treble, right? He could get to the FA Cup final, already got the League Cup, got the Carabao Cup, and could win the league. And then
Yeah.
we're hearing rumors that he retires and says, "Guys, thanks a lot, I'm done."
Oh, if he
and
gets a
walk away.
treble, he's
Yeah,
totally leaving. I'm like, that's it. I mean, there
I'm
is
done.
no better horse to ride off into the sunset on
Yeah,
than a treble.
a
Because
domestic treble
he's
for
gonna
Pep.
have the horse and 2 spare mounts that he can
Yeah.
like switch up on. I mean, it's like, come on.
Yeah, this is
No, and so yeah, this game right here is essentially the title.
it's a psychological title as well. Yeah, psychological
Yeah,
trophies.
I mean,
Yeah.
yes, there are lots of other games that come out, but what happens in this game sets the tone for the remaining 5.
Yeah. If Arsenal win, they should psychologically say, okay, we're safe, we're clear, we've got breathing space, and then they can pick up this season again and go after Atletico for the semis, and could come out with get to a Champions League final and win the league, right?
But if City wins,
And convincingly, and it's a
and
convincing
convincing,
3-0.
I mean, it's not even. There's a couple of things. One, they get a draw, they'll breathe, but it doesn't solve their problem, right? Of course, the nature of how the draw happens can have a big can have a big impact. If City is up and Arsenal claws their way back, that's one thing.
Yeah.
If City's
Yeah.
up front and then Manchester claws back, it's the same thing as losing, only you have a point to show for it.
Yeah.
If Manchester City thumps them, yeah, you got some big problems. The sports psychologists, every sports psychologist in the North London, possibly the Greater London area, is suddenly going to be on speed dial, and they're going to be cycling them through. Right?
Or they're going to be calling the council and saying, looking at the water, and what the hell are they putting in the water? Because there's something going on up there in North London that they're putting in there, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be great, and that's just one match.
That's gone. Well, check this out. Well, also, I'm just looking at the City have a few defenders, Guardiola, O'Reilly, and also John Stones out injured. Okay, listen to Arsenal's injury list: Saka doubtful with a muscle injury, Odegaard doubtful, physical discomfort. Okay, Madueke injured, Moreno injured, Calafiori, Timber injured. That's a depleted, and so that's a depleted squad. I don't think Arsenal are going to choke here. Arsenal are going to choke.
I'm not kind. I got no tears for any of these clubs. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the nature of the business. So
yeah.
But then again, you've also got. But then and again, this is just one match.
Yeah, and that's at the top. Yeah,
right. This is just one match, and on that same day, on that same Sunday, because that's the primetime game on Sunday. On that same Sunday, you've got the Merseyside derby between Everton and Liverpool.
You do. And they're close.
You absolutely have to think that if Slot does not win this one, he's in such big trouble. Then you've also got a match between two little sides called Nottingham Forest and Burnley, which you might say, gee, that doesn't matter much. Not to Burnley, because Burnley's pretty much their relegation is essentially locked in. But for Nottingham Forest, a win puts them up above, and it really impacts Spurs and West Ham.
Yeah, that's daylight.
You got two other clubs that are heavily invested in the result of this game, and that's all just on Sunday. Oh yeah, there's another one between Aston Villa and Sunderland, another great mid-table match. I mean, if Villa wants to stay in Europe, they got to win.
Well, that's it, and they're playing today. And they play today, don't they? Is that right? They're playing today. Yeah, Villa are playing today against Bologna. That is correct. And Forest are also playing against Porto.
And they're also playing against today. So it's like you've got teams that are also, in addition to all this, playing up on really tight schedules. So then on Saturday, I mean, Saturday's fixtures, there's some good ones, none of which have the same significant impact, with two exceptions. First one is Tottenham Hotspur versus Brighton. They're hosting Brighton.
And their home form. Oh my God.
In a season where it seems every game for Spurs has been a must win.
They've won 2 games at home this whole season. Oh my God.
This is the must win in all caps.
Yeah.
Right. And probably in a larger font as well, because it's just
no pressure, guys. No pressure.
No. And
it's terrible.
Brighton doesn't. I mean, Brighton's mid-table. they might still, given the weirdness of what's happening, that there could be as many as 11 different teams from England playing in Europe next year.
That
You
many.
have to think
Wow.
that anybody who's sitting between 12th and 8th is trying to get as high up in that table as possible, because
Yeah.
they might get lucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
They might get lucky and get, have that little mechanical hand come down and pluck them out of the gigantic pool of stuffed animals and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
you are
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
out,"
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Doesn't it depend if like Villa win the Europa League as well?
Yeah,
Then
there's a
it's
lot.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, like I said, the
There's
number of
variables.
there's too many variables to get into here. But
Yeah.
like, I think Villa would have to win. I think no, Villa would have to win they would have to win Europa. Palace would have to win. Um,
Conference
Villa
League. Yeah.
or Forest have to win Europa, but Villa is the preferred one because then their higher ranked spot, right? If they
Yeah.
qualify for Champions League, well, it doesn't matter if they win
And they're
Europa, they're in
already in the
Champions
top
League
four.
anyway.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
it drops down to another team, right? So it shifts it down.
So it could be 6 teams that get into the Champions League. Is that what you're saying? That an extra spot goes to the Premier League? Is that the understanding?
I'm not entirely sure exactly if they
Okay.
can have 6 in the Champions League. I think it's still capped at 5.
But still, 5 is a lot. I mean, Jesus, I
But
remember when it
what
used to be
happened
1.
is, if Villa wins, they're guaranteed in, which means that their placement no longer matters. So essentially, look at the table, erase them,
Yeah.
and you move down the line. And then
Wow.
if it
Okay. So
comes to a point where there might be a 6th inside the Champions League, that just reverts to Europa,
okay. Okay. Wow.
right? But even so, you're playing in Europe, and that's what matters. So
Yeah.
Brighton still has that, but Brighton still has that potential. Brentford still has that potential. So does Fulham, and Brentford
Yeah.
and Fulham are playing each other.
Yeah.
Nice little London derby there. Why not?
Brentford. Wow. Look at that. Just to keep it interesting. And then there's also another little game, Chelsea Manchester United, which is also got a lot of stuff going on.
Got a lot of stuff going on. Manchester United finally that incredible run that they've had inside 2026 came to a crashing halt.
Well, they've
last
lost
weekend.
2. Well, they've lost 2, haven't they? Now for the last 4 games, right? They lost to Leeds, and then they also lost to Newcastle a few weeks back. But yeah, that's. But yeah,
But
Man
the
U's done
Leeds
incredibly
loss
well.
was particularly stinging,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so Manchester United has a lot riding on it. They really need Champions League. And so they've got to do everything possible to stay in the top 5.
Yeah, they
Must
should be.
stay in the top 5.
Yeah, the way they've been playing, I don't have any concerns about Manchester United
I
slipping
don't
down.
have
To be
many
honest,
concerns about them either.
Yeah.
But I do have concerns about 2 teams that are both coming off of terrible losses. All of a sudden going in and playing each other, it's just a beautiful stew. It's a great little cauldron that's just bubbling right there, right?
and that's what do you think this Chelsea Man United game could be a cracker in the making? Because I don't. My fear is again, Rafinha's
Could.
lost the squad. They've conceded 6 goals in the last 2 games. They lost 3-0
I think
each
it
time.
could be. I regardless of whether it's a cracker in the making, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be must watch viewing. You have to watch it.
Yeah,
If only because it's either going to be a thrilling. I got 3 options: absolute barn buster, right? Dull as fuck, or all kinds of crazy ass drama that has nothing to do with
drama.
the game. I mean, it's like we're talking disciplinary issues, various other things. Coaches getting thrown out, lots of opportunity. It could be a combination of 2 of those 3.
Yeah,
But it's not going to be all 3 because you can't have a barnstormer and be dull as fuck. So there you go.
Thank you for it. Yeah, really stuck your neck out there as well and made a prediction, didn't you, Cooligan? Yeah. Okay. I can't help but understand. And then we haven't even spoken about your team playing West Ham as well on the final game on Sunday.
Yeah, it's not much to say there. Crystal Palace only has 1 game that matters. That's Fiorentina today.
And then that holds them, gives them a chance. But
that's it. This is all that matters, right? They're traveling to Fiorentina with a 3-0 lead.
Yeah,
they just have to do the business.
Not concede. Yeah,
this is what matters to them, right?
Yeah.
They are not going to get relegated. They are not going to move so far up the table that they automatically qualify for European competition. We both know those are not scenarios. So what's their scenario?
Win the Europa,
win the conference
league,
right?
Conference
Win
league,
UEFA conference. They do that. They've got themselves guaranteed spot into Europa.
you get into the Europa League, but isn't the ownership issue still blocking them because that's why they got kicked down into the Europa League, or
No,
Textor's gone there too.
let us be very clear. By the time that they reached that judgment saying that there was a conflict of interest, that guy no longer owned the club. It was a bullshit ruling. It was an utter travesty of a ruling because he was never in direct control of Crystal Palace to begin with. Parish has complete control over the club on that regard. Textor had no say, and he sold all of his shares. So that particular ruling, listen, regardless, it's water under the bridge. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And there would be no conflict there. Besides, at this point, Lyon, there's a good chance that Lyon could finish in the Champions League qualification. They're pushing for third. Currently, they're in fifth.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Even if they drop down, there would be no conflict because Textor is no longer a part of the Crystal Palace organization as of June of 25.
Okay. Can I ask, what are your thoughts then on this Palace West Ham game? Because, I mean, West Ham, the last two games, there was the FA Cup quarterfinal, which they had an incredible result to come back. Unfortunately, lost it on penalties, but then absolutely destroyed Wolves. Not that that's a big achievement, but given sort of Wolves' general sort of position and form, but a convincing 4-0 win. You've got to feel that West Ham all of a sudden, like, we can take some points here and we can get at this. And if they do,
I'd say this is a match that is far more important to West Ham than it is to Crystal Palace, which isn't to say they'll take it lightly. Palace's performance against Fiorentina was fantastic. That was one of the best first halves, 45 minutes I've seen them play in years. Mateta is back with a purpose. Whether that purpose is to make himself look good so he can get traded, fine. I don't care, right? As long as you're putting in bangers, kid, I don't care who you're playing for. If you're in a Palace shirt, you play for Palace. Even if you want to take the shirt off and go somewhere else at the end of the season, fine.
That's next season,
Just go ahead. Just do what you got to do.
Do you think the Ekatike injury moves Mateta up the line a little bit and could potentially sneak in a France call
for France?
Cup?
Yeah, it's funny. I hadn't thought of that. I hadn't thought of that, but it could be. It could be. I mean, I do think that if you're Mateta, as gruesome as that may sound, everybody has when opportunities like that happen, even if they come at the expense of others, you have to seize them. So, he's fired up. He'll be fired up to maximize every minute that he can while wearing the blue and red, so that he can prove to France, to whomever, that I'm back and I'm ready. So
I can do a job.
Welcoming all offers, right? That's
so. Here's a scenario.
I mean, will West Ham win? They could, but I also think that Palace is, again, they've got their back. Munoz is back, Mateta's back. Yes, they've had some injuries in some other areas, but that's just they've had to cycle through that. They're playing with a purpose again, and there was a long period where they kind of lost their way. And I think their way is back. And it also fits in with a lot of the traditional pattern around Palace, which is, they do tend to end seasons strongly as far as clubs go. They finish out real strong. So
interesting. So there's a world here where, and just bear with me, where Brighton beat Spurs, which is possible. Okay, that's not bonkers territory. That is very, very conceivable given Brighton's form and also Spurs' form, and also Spurs are at home, and we know how badly they play at home. And then there's a world where West Ham beat Palace, and then all of a sudden
I'm going to allow this.
Yeah, but just hear me out. Just
go on. I'm hearing you. I'm listening.
Then there's a 5-point gap between Spurs and West Ham, and you've got, and what are the 33, and then there's 8, so there's 5 games to the season to go. That's a nail in the coffin. That's one of 3-4 nails in the coffin that basically puts Spurs down, isn't it? That Spurs could be psychologically relegated this weekend. Wow. If you'll allow me to,
think because you've also got Leeds playing Wolves.
Yeah,
and you've got to assume that Leeds is gonna. You've got to think that Leeds is gonna do the business there.
There's 6 points there, and Leeds
that would essentially put Leeds in a very comfortable position.
In a safety zone, And then so as a Chelsea fan, and again, allow me to speculate, there's a world here at the end of the season where Spurs go down, Arsenal choke and don't win the league, and Chelsea are able to snatch the FA Cup away from Pep in the FA Cup final. And wow, yeah, sorry, I'm just speculating and dreaming here as well, but that could be
Really have been licking those mushrooms. I tell you,
it's ayahuasca, hooligan, ayahuasca. Yes. Wow. Okay, this weekend is crucial. This is an absolute storm. Wow, I'm going to have to cancel sort of plans. I was going to play golf on the weekend. That's not going to happen now. I have to watch this. Okay. Aside from the Palace West Ham game, what game are you looking forward to the most here? City Arsenal?
yeah, undoubtedly. I mean, and then on Saturday, I'm actually looking forward to the Spurs Brighton game and the Chelsea Manchester United game, purely for hate watching purposes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Wow. Okay, cool again. So much going on. And then this weekend, of course, there is El Super Clasico, Boca against River. Not that there's sort of huge amounts, but I know just it sort of, just sums up the weekend of all the amazingness going on. And there's a Copa del Rey final as well. Is that right? In
There is a
Spain?
Copa
Is
del
that
Rey
correct?
final, yeah. What's great about that Copa del Rey final is that it does not have Barcelona or Real Madrid in it. You've got Atletico Madrid playing Real Sociedad, and so I mean,
Real have had a really bad season then because they're like 7 points, I think, behind in La Liga, behind Barcelona, just been dumped out of the Champions League. All below is toast,
there will be
obviously,
no
I think these
silverware.
days.
There will be no
Yeah,
silverware in Real's cabinet from this year now.
once again. Wow, interesting. Wonderful. Well, cool again, as always. Thank you. Breaking it down. Good luck with Palace today with or tomorrow. Is it today or tomorrow?
Today.
They're playing Fiorentina today. Well, good luck with that. Until then, we'll be back again next week, looking into, all of the wonderful stuff going in as we close out the season and then get
No
closer to
shortage.
the World Cup. No shortage. Wonderful. Cool again. Thank you. Till next time.
Peace.